Hello, friends. I just wanted to share this beautiful moment with you and also take the opportunity to give you an example of um, some ideas of how you might respond to the question, which is the main homework that I give folks when they're doing the nervous system work with me, which is to ask your body several times a day, even for me, it has become an ongoing conversation. There's sort of like no in between. I'm always receiving the answer to this question, which is, how does my body feel physically? So a lot of us, when we're asked that question, will go into cognitive or emotional feelings. So we might say, I feel stressed, or I feel um, overwhelmed, or I feel worried, or we might tell a story. It can be tricky to just really speak to the physical experience. And that's because, we live in such a cognitive society. So it's what we've been trained in. But to come back to the physical experience can do a lot of good for our nervous system, um, and then our emotions and thoughts, because the nervous system is constantly giving us sensations, and it's doing that to do sort of two things: to tell us about our actual physical state, if we need any help with our physical functioning. If there's anything, if we need food, if we need to go to the bathroom, if we need to, rest a muscle, or if there's an irritation or a strain or anything anywhere, if we need sleep, etc. And then the second thing that it's doing by giving us those sensations is it's helping our nervous system to check in with the actual physical world. So before we were such cognitive focused folks, we really needed to pay attention to what was going on in the physical environment, so that we could keep ourselves safe from any physical threats. And so the nervous system actually has far more practice having physical threats than it does having emotional or cognitive threats. And it settles down differently when we are able to really receive and acknowledge those physical cues that it's sending us, and when we're able to really acknowledge what sensory experiences we're having in the moment, because that is the kind of information that it is designed to pick up on. So it's not really designed, we don't have like millions of years of evolutionary practice and design to pick up on, like, you know, cognitive type of stress, but we do have a lot of practice about picking up on, like, is there a smell that's threatening? Is there a taste that's threatening? Is there a sound that's threatening? Is there a physical touch sensation that's threatening? Smell, taste, touch, hearing, and is there a visual that's threatening? So I'm just going to offer sort of head to toe what kind of physical sensations I'm picking up on now. I've just had an hour walk, so there's some spots that are calling for my attention. Okay, so I'm just going to use words as examples of what kinds of words we can use for physical sensations. So I've got a little bit of pressure that I can feel from my hat. I've got a little coolness on the top of my head. I've got some drippiness and sort of irritated, not quite an itch, but an irritated around my eyes. I've got a sort of a dull sensation of ache around here. I've got a bit of congestion in my nose. I've got some, like on the edge of close to being chapped lips. I've got some, let's see what else. Ears, a little bit of fullness in this ear, and a little bit of tension in this jaw, like it wants to be popped a little bit over here with this ear. I've got a bit of dryness and soreness in my throat. I didn't take my allergy medicine last night, so I think that's what all these things are about. I've got pain in my shoulders and more of a dull pain on this side and more of a like a pull strain on this side. I've got a bit of a I used to call it the broccoli sensation in my stomach, which is usually just some digestive sensation. It's not necessarily pain, but an awareness of some digestion in my belly. I've got soreness in my hip joint. I've got just a bit, I can feel there's like a line going through my knee joint, which has been there for many, many years. It's just sort of, it's like I can feel a straight line going through it of sensation. It's not quite pain. And I've got some more cracking in my ears, crackling. And I've got my arches both feel like the arches stretched tight, like a little stretch too far. And I've got some coolness in my toes. And this connector area between my thumb and my index finger and my hand, that area right there, is sore in both hands. Yep, especially coolness in my right foot, in the pinky and the second and third toe. Also coolness in my pinky fingers. A little itchiness right here. And a little bit of tiredness in my eyes. And my tailbone has some soreness. I think those are all that I'm noticing now. And then I'm going to also take the opportunity, so that was all the points of tension or discomfort. Now I'm going to go through and see if I can notice anything pleasant. I'm loving the feel of the breeze on my face. And the sound that I am listening to, my ears feel very happy about this sound. This is my favorite sound, the sound of wind in leaves. Visually, I'm also seeing the fluttering of the leaves, which is my favorite thing to look at. And I'm seeing some leaves fall. So visually, that's super pleasant. And the sort of like dappled light, super pleasant on my eyes. My sweater feels really like the right weight. Feels like a nice sort of heaviness without being too heavy on me. And this fabric of my scarf is very cool and smooth on my neck. My neck really likes that. I feel like a ease of breathing, so like a pleasant um, breath rhythm in my chest. Mm. And that yawn felt really satisfying all the way down from ears to just below my sternum. Okay, and then after pleasant, we can look for neutral. So anything that's neutral, not a sense of discomfort, not a sense of pleasant, but just a neutral sense. The sort of crown on my head is feeling very neutral. This part of my cheeks, say my teeth are feeling pretty neutral. My forearms, the back of my hand, my underarms, the tops of my upper legs, my calves. And you can see how much my vagus nerve is enjoying this because it's bringing all these yawns. It's sort of where my scapulas are. That's sort of like mid back. It's feeling pretty neutral. And then my inner ankle. So like the interior of my ankle joint. So our you can think of if you have like a kiddo and they're not feeling great and they aren't super practiced at describing what's going on, you might say like, does your head hurt? Do your eyes hurt? Do your ears hurt? Does your throat hurt? Does your neck hurt? Um, so learning interoception is something that we learn through practicing it. And interoception, or the experience of feeling the sensations that are inside of us, is something that is really helpful for the nervous system. It calms the nervous system down. As you saw, my vagus nerve started giving me those nice big yawns because it was like, oh, it feels so good to be checked on. It feels so good to be attended to. And even that acknowledgement is typically like softens a lot of tension. But the acknowledgement, we can take it even one step further and then see if there's anything that we can do to support ourselves. So I'll probably go home and take my allergy medicine and um, give myself some uh, gentle, maybe massage on some of those tense points, um, maybe some arnica cream on those tense points, give myself some soothing soothing liquids. And my throat's like, yes, please. I might change my hat to one that's a little bit looser because this one's feeling a little bit tight today. So we can use the information to both acknowledge ourselves and also to then take it a step further and take really good care of ourselves. And then we can also bring some real gratitude and appreciation to those parts of us that are feeling pleasant or even neutral. When we focus on only the points of tension, then that is going to be primarily what we notice. But typically, even if you're in a lot of pain, typically you can find something that is pleasant, something that is neutral. And that can be helpful for the reticular activating system to notice the full experience and not just the points of tension or pain. Okay, lots of love.